Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Uncle Iso, and I'm back at it with another video for y'all. And in this one, we're gonna be going through a routine that I developed called 1060. Now this is really great, especially because I just signed up for my very first climbing competition, the Summer Smackdown, here at my home gym, Hampden in Baltimore. So I'm very excited for that. And because of that, it's time for me to start going into some more deep dive training. So we're gonna go ahead and go through one of my favorite routines here in this video, and I hope that you enjoy it. But before I go into the routine, allow me to explain it a little bit first. So the 1060 derives its name from the amount of seconds of rest that we give ourselves in between each rep and set in this routine. Now the 1060 is a ladder drill, and basically meaning that we're going to be increasing the difficulty of grade as we progress throughout the workout. So the way that I kind of think of it is each attempt on a climb is going to be a rep, and we're going to be doing 3 reps per set. So we're going to start off on V0s, and we're going to be working our way up to our grade max. So for me, that's V7. For you, it can be whatever it is. And I also have some tips on how to do some variations if you're not that quite high up in your grade level just yet. So starting off on V0s, we're going to be giving ourselves 0 seconds of rest in between each rep, and we're going to give ourselves 0 seconds of rest before we promote to the next grade, which will be V1, which I'm going to work on over here. Now at V1, we're going to give ourselves 10 seconds of rest in between each rep, and once we do this 3 times, we're going to give ourselves 60 seconds of rest after that set as we promote to the V2, basically 1 minute, so it's kind of easy to remember. So essentially, once we go to V2, over here, we're gonna give ourselves 20 seconds of rest in between each rep, and then after we do this 3 times, we're gonna do 2 minutes of rest before we promote to V3, so on and so forth. So I recommend this drill for people who climb at least V4 and up, but even if you don't, let's say you climb maybe max V3, a good way that you can add some variations to this would be to, instead of choosing one boulder per grade, would be to choose maybe like 2 or 3 boulders per grade. So instead of doing 1 V2 and then you promote to the V3, do maybe like 2 or 3 V2s before you promote to V3, or 2 or 3 V1s before you promote to V2, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So in this particular workout, I like to think of a rep as a send. So not just an attempt. So basically meaning that in the entirety of my set, I need to send that boulder 3 times before I promote to the next grade. Now, if I don't send it all 3 times in that set, then I give myself an additional minute of rest, then I try again, and then I have to send it at least once in the next 3 reps that I have in that set. I hope that makes sense. So let's say, for instance, I only send twice out of the 3 attempts that I have on that set. Then I give myself an additional rest, come back, and I have to only send it at least once, but I give myself a total of 3 tries in that second set. Now, if I'm unable to complete 3 sends out of both of the 2 sets that I give myself for that 1 boulder, then I gotta go and find myself another boulder at that same grade level and then try it again, but I restart my send attempts. So I have to make sure that I do that second boulder at least 3 sends. So the point of this drill is, 1, to work on your efficiency, to work on your speed, to really perfect your technique and your beta. So as you're going through each rep, you're trying to really master your movements and become a lot smoother through each route. Another thing too is that the point of this drill is to climb until failure. So if you don't reach your max grade level, that's fine, as long as you're working really, really hard. That's the key. Lastly, I really recommend doing this drill on boulders that you are already familiar with, rather than trying to figure out all at once, because part of it again is really trying to perfect your beta. All right, so with all the instructions out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight on into this drill. Starting off on this yellow V0 here. What's going on? Oh, okay, here we go. Oh yeah. Alrighty, and now we're gonna go and jump onto this V1 over here. All right, now I got a minute of rest. So start the timer on that. So as you saw in that V1 there, I did it 3 times with 3 different betas. And that was kind of because the first time I felt a little bit like still trying to figure it out a little bit, but I felt pretty smooth. And then as I went through it, I knew what holds I needed and what holds I didn't. So it was a lot easier for me to perfect my beta as I was working through it. So about 30 seconds in, and now, where was that V2? Oh, I'm gonna work on this pink V2 for my V2 section. Alrighty. So we got 20 seconds of rest this time, and then after we finish this 2 more times, we're gonna give ourselves 2 minutes of rest. The holds on this are a little funky, but I do like this one because it's got some interesting movements on it. So you gotta do, oh, I skipped it. Alrighty. And I try my best to not overdo my rest here. I'll follow this timer a little bit more closely. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, so now we're gonna start that off. 2 minutes of rest. So while you're resting, you don't have to just sit there and do nothing. You can stretch. You can also try to identify which boulders you're gonna do, brush your holds, a lot of different things that you can do. Alrighty. I think it's also important too that while you're working on this drill, to choose different styles of climbs in each boulder problem. So for instance, this V3 that I'm working on is a lot crimpier, which is really good. It's very different than the other styles that I've been working on where I've been using pretty much jugs. I mean, they're V0s, V1s. I like that V2 though because it had more emphasis on movement. There you go. So another thing that you might notice that I've been doing is I'm eliminating holds as I go, because what I'm trying to do is spend less time on the wall so that I can spend more time resting, especially because once I start getting into like the V5 range and up is where it's gonna get a lot harder, and I'm gonna really want to have more rest time. So, last one. Alrighty. So I think it does also really promote dynamic movements in your climbing by eliminating some of those holds, which can help you generate more power and focus more on momentum in your climbing, and also help you just become more efficient and faster in your climbing, which I think efficiency is really key, as it is showing that you're able to really tap into your techniques a lot better, and really shows that you have a lot more control over your movements and your body. So next we're gonna go and find ourselves a V4. So I haven't done any real underhanging stuff yet, so I'm gonna do this V4 underhang, this white one right here. I have about another minute and a half of rest time, which is good, especially because with it being underhang, I know it's gonna be a little bit more tiring, so I'm glad that I have a little bit more rest in this one. I think it's also crucial too, as you're doing it, to kind of map out your beta. I have tried this one before, and I do know that this V4 is hard. So I'm gonna chalk up with the 30 seconds that I have left. Alrighty, so 40 seconds. Another thing too, this is an interval training drill, so you will get tired. That's kind of part of the point, and I think that this is a great way to include some cardio into your bouldering routine. A lot of people like to think that just because boulder routes are a lot shorter, that cardio isn't a part of bouldering, but I mean, you can hear me. I think that it really depends on how you're climbing. And if you're doing it intentionally, then there definitely is. All right, so I got about 5 seconds left. felt a lot smoother that time. And that's the thing that I really like about this drill, is that because you're repeating the climbs, you can easily identify what worked well, what didn't work well, and because you're thinking intentionally about doing it again, you're specifically focusing on trying to do it better the next time. And I think oftentimes climbers, they'll say, oh, I sent it, I don't need to worry about it, I'll just move on to the next one. But you don't confirm your climbs. I feel like by sending it multiple times over, that's how you really perfect your beta. All right, last attempt. Oh. Whew. All right, 4 minutes to rest, thank God. All right, so we just completed the V4 section. We're about to start on the V5s. That V4, to me, I feel like is where it starts to get a lot harder. The climbs are more difficult, they're longer. They require a lot more technique. So that's where you start to really work on perfecting your beta. And at this point too, is where I think that choosing your boulders and the sequencing of when you're placing certain boulders really matters. Because if I were to choose like another V5 underhang after that, you know, it's unlikely that I'd be able to do 3 reps of that back to back to back, you know, especially with less than a minute rest working on V5s. So instead, I'm gonna be choosing this dynamic V5 here, which is a very fast boulder and does require a bit of power and energy, but I know that I can do this. Well, let me not say I know. I feel that I can do this repetitively a lot better and a lot easier than if I were to be doing a V5 underhang or even like a V5 slab per se. So I'm gonna rest up a little bit. I have about another 2 minutes of rest in between now. Or, no, I'm sorry, I have 1 minute of rest, I forgot. Then I'm gonna try and brush this down a little bit. All right, about 30 seconds. But I feel confident on this V5 because I flashed it the first time I tried it, so I feel pretty confident on this one. Yeah.
But I couldn't figure out how to go from there.
All right, hopefully I don't interfere too much with their climbing here. I'm gonna give myself a little bit extra rest just because they're working on this and I wanna interject. So I get a little extra rest. Not intentional though. Alrighty, so 50 seconds of rest. But yeah, as you can see, I was able to just really like go straight into it. It doesn't take that long, which is really nice. And I like using, like once I get into the higher boulders, the higher grades, I like to find stuff that like, you still need to know what you're doing in order to do it well. Like, it's still a hard grade, but luckily I know that dynos are some of my strong suits. So I like to kind of think about what am I strongest at as I get into the higher grades so that I can manage the fatigue that I'm dealing with. So I've got about 10 seconds of rest before the next rep, but that felt good. All right. It's the V6s that I'm worried about. Whoa. Alrighty. Slipped a little bit. Let me brush that down. All right. About 20 seconds left and that rest. Whew. But yeah, I still felt strong even though I slipped. Luckily that jug is pretty damn juggy. But that next one's pretty slopey, so you gotta really grab it right. All right, here we go, last one. Alrighty, now we're on to the 6s. But thankfully, because I chose a V5 that I was able to do really fast, I actually have what feels like even more rest time as I get ready to go into these V6s. Now, here at this gym, I think I only have 2 V6s that I've sent. Actually, this V6 right behind us, I flashed it the first time, but I haven't been able to send it since. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to try that one. But there is another V6 that's over there that is kind of like an extension of a V5 that kind of has to go through like this crack. And I can do the V5 portion really well, but it's trying to navigate that crack that's really hard. Now I'm trying to just debate which one I want to do. I know they're both gonna really hurt either way. I feel like I'm gonna do the other one simply because I feel more confident on that one, and I don't know if I feel as confident on this V6 just yet. Even though that crack navigation is pretty damn hard. That's the hardest part. Once you can get through it, the V5 is pretty straightforward, but bleeding a little bit, but we'll get through that. Let's move. I didn't even notice that until I looked down at my water bottle and I was like, is that blood? Where did that come from? I was not there earlier. Alrighty, with time to spare. Hopefully, you have 4 or 5. I have 5 minutes. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that, like on the water bottle. Like I came down from the V5 and I saw that. You see it? Alrighty, 40 seconds. It's honestly, the 5 portion doesn't, the second half of this boulder isn't what worries me. It's this first half. All right, let's see. But this kind of builds off of my my first videos when I was talking about extending boulders. I really like when setters do that. Oh. Alrighty. At least I get a minute. At least I get a full minute of rest this time. Goodness gracious. Honestly, it felt better. I feel like once I figured out how to navigate that crack section underneath, it actually wasn't nearly as bad. When I was first trying this, I was like, yo, I don't even know how people do this. It felt impossible. Like, it hurt. But that time, funny enough, I felt like I navigated the crack section actually easier than the rest of the 5. So that was interesting. Oh, I only got 30 seconds left, damn. Alrighty. All ready? Let's go. Oi. Nope, it's still hard. Yeah, it's still hard. Oh my God. Okay. Last one. Let's make it a good one. So I'll be happy to be done with this. Honestly, this press section is pretty hard. I'm gonna brush it down a bit. You can tell I'm tired. All right. 5, 4, 2, 1. All right, let's go. Bumbuk. All right, 1 minute of rest. 1 extra minute. Okay, so I did 2 out of the 3 attempts on that one. So I'm gonna give myself another total of 3 attempts at it again, but I only had to send it once. One of the things though is that if I want to promote to V7 though, is that not only do I have to send this 1 more time, but I also gotta find another V6, but send that 3 times in a row. So we will see. I'm actually very upset that I messed up on that because I really, really, really wanted to move on. I'm very upset, but that's part of it. That's part of the drill. All right, here you go. Let's get it. Gotta focus. Gotta focus. Focus and breathe, focus and breathe. No need to rush. I'm actually really mad now because 100%, I just got too excited thinking that I was about to be done, and then I just like rushed. So what's interesting is like with that, it's like I'm gonna give myself 6 minutes of rest. But what's interesting is like with that, as much as this drill is also about improving your speed, it's also, as you get to the higher grades, you really have to pace yourself. You have to really focus on your breathing and not get too excited. So it's like a balance, you know? The drill and what it does for you changes as you progress through the grades. So that's why I think that this is a really great drill to incorporate. And if you made it this far in the video, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe, so you can see me do more crazy ass drills like this. Now I gotta go find another V6. Now, actually I lie, there's another V6. There's this white V6 over here that I've done. But it's also very hard. So I'm gonna give it, I'm debating on whether or not I wanna do this one or that blue one. I feel like I might do this white one because I know I can send it. Well, I don't know if I can send it now, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I got some time, All right, so I have about a minute left on the clock before I jump on this white V6. Because I'm very gassed, I'm only gonna give myself a total of 3 attempts at this. Hopefully I can send it on all 3, but I'll just be happy if I send it once, honestly. 30 seconds left. I'm gonna chalk up. I just brushed down the whole. I think I just broke my chalk bag. The grip strength is getting stronger. No, I'm sad. 10 seconds. Okay. Here we go. All right, that's one down. Let's go. Actually felt pretty good. That felt pretty good. I'm gonna brush it again. All right, about 30 seconds left. Hopefully I can do that coordination move again. I've seen one of my friends do it statically with a heel hook. I've never tried it before, So I'm not sure if I want to try it now when I know that the coordination works. But that coordination is tiring. But I feel good. 15 seconds. Just gotta keep the breath, stay focused, pace myself. No! No! The heel hook did help though. But I'm tired. I think I'm gonna call it for today, at least for right now. Actually, no, yeah, I'm gonna call it. But thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know if you try out this drill yourself and how it works out for you. And that's pretty much it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.